Hey guys, I'm back. So I just walked the dog. Then I read an entire chapter perfectly without like any of those Anyways, and then the dog started barking at me, so I just put peanut butter and apples in his con, and he's now sitting in front of me quietly. I was saying in the video before as well that he is, we believe that he's a German short haired pointer mixed with American foxhound. And like I said before, he's about 14 weeks. I got him at about 9 weeks or so. So as like a little puppy, he's awesome. He's cool. Yeah, he's a good dog. It's interesting growing him up and seeing him get like a tiny bit bigger every day. So that's that with that. I will try to get him into a video, but so far it's not a thing right now. So I'm going to go on to read chapter 23. This chapter is called Surprises. I will go on to read it again. Um, just don't open them yet, please. I stood there listening to his every word. He begged me with a tone of seriousness that must be followed. I waited for the longest time, hearing him move around, whispering words to himself and repeating 1 second between 2 minute intervals. I felt like the room was closing in and heat was dancing around. Then he held me. All right, stand right here. Then I heard him walk to my side. Okay, open your eyes. And there they sat, tied to wooden chairs in an empty cabin, with fear in their eyes, that were one of a kind but mimicked the other, with tears glazing their cheeks, painting them like cheap dolls. Do you like? He held my hand. I refused to answer his question with words, but through a kiss. I stopped midway and gave him a smile with my eyes and walked away to admire my toys. I took off my jacket and placed it in a corner of the room. Then I put my hair in one. I walked in front of them and I sat down. I looked back and River leaned against the wall like a parent watching their child. Then I looked back at them in fascination. River, what did they do? He didn't answer. I looked at the cave the bone in her neck created. Looked original, unlike their eyes. River? He brought them here, but he didn't even want to tell me why. They killed her 2 kids. I admired her neck once again and imagined what it would feel like in my hand if I broke it. So, again, like I said, there's about 3 or 4 chapters that when wanting to present my book, I've used specifically these chapters as like an introduction to their relationship, an introduction to my writing style, murder, everything like that. So when I was reading it, like I said, less because I almost know it. I've read it to so many people. I've read it in maybe 2 or 3 classes. I've read it to my friends if they're over, etc. If I'm like, hey, I wrote a book. Do you want to hear it? So that's why I almost know it a bit by heart. I could look at the camera a bit longer, etc. So for some scenes that do strike some kind of memory, the line about their eyes with tears glazing their cheeks, painting them like cheap dolls. Okay, it's a very weird scene, but in Titanic, on the second cassette, when the ship is falling and breaking down and people are going inside of the little boats that they have, I want to say it's the kids that Rose's husband went with, but I'm not perfectly sure. I will try to find the scene. But there's a scene of these like 2 little girls, and one of them, her teeth look like chiclets or whatever like that. They look like very white, like she's a doll, and she looks up and she just looks like a doll for some reason. She doesn't look like a human. So that was the scene that came to mind when I wrote that, or what I meant, something like that. And then also, yeah, just this scene as introduction. I love the whole line of repeating 1 second between 2 minute intervals. This room in my mind is just this empty, almost yellow wooden room with just these 2 chairs and these 2 people sitting right there. Maybe 2 exits on either end across from each other almost. And yeah, I've lived this scene so many times. So in the next chapter, you guys will get to see more of what I kind of see in my head. Again, I like saying that their eyes were like resembled each other, but they were unique, and then going back and saying that like her neck was more unique unlike their eyes. So I kind of liked playing with that, because it was like, for one moment Eowyn's like, yes, it's unique, then the next moment she's like, well, they both are the kind of the same, then she kind of reverts her entire statement back towards the end. So yes, I'll go on to read the next chapter. I hope you guys like this. You guys like this section. I don't quite remember writing it, but like I said, I read it a lot. And then the chapters that follow after these two sections were something that I wrote for my fantasy course, I think, where I showed my prof these chapters, and she said, okay, you can add extra pages to it specifically for this class, and that was awesome. So thank you again for listening to my book, Chapter 23, Surprises and Can You Dream? And again, I'll try to get the dog in the next video. Thank you. Bye.